Hello, everyone. Today is a special treat. We have the director of the film Young Plato, Neasa Ní Chianáín, and the headmaster, Kevin McArevey, who leads the Holy Cross Boys School. Both are here today. God bless you both. Thank you for coming.
Oh, our pleasure.
Okay, Nisa, now let me ask you a question. Tell our audience a little bit about the film.
Okay, well, it's a film that's set in Ardoyne in North Belfast. Ardoyne is a little Catholic enclave that is surrounded by Protestant neighborhoods. So it's quite a challenging area in that Ardoyne didn't really benefit from the peace process. Not much money went that way, so they are still sort of post dealing with the trauma of the conflict, and there's high unemployment, there's a lot of drugs, and high suicide rates amongst teenagers there, and so it's very difficult area to raise a child in. And the film it's centered on Kevin McArevey's school and the headmaster there, and it's about how teaching philosophy and critical thinking to children makes them more resilient and makes them much more confident and really helps them prepare for the issues that they're going to have to face in the future.
Well, it's a brilliant film. Tell me, how did this project come to be? How did you, find out about Kevin and his teaching ways to even consider a movie? Brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It was my co-director, Declan McGrath. He's a Belfast-based filmmaker. We were friends and worked together in the past. And it was he who told me about Kevin and the wonderful work he was doing.
Wow, wow. Kevin, are you there, Kevin? Tell us, how did you know this type of approach would work on such young boys? Where did you get this amazing idea, or actually strategy in, embedding this into the education of young boys?
Yeah, do you know what, Antonio? I sort of fell into it. When I was the vice principal of Holy Cross Boys, I was tasked to create a professional learning community for the staff, and in doing that, I brought a lot of creative approaches into teaching, because at the end of the day, we're in a working class area, and we have to keep the kids engaged, and we have to really draw them into education. And I did an awful lot of thinking around educational researchers, Barry Bennett and Jeff Petty and Edward DeBano. And then when that exhausted itself, the outgoing principal said, try philosophy. And I says, I'm going into my first year as a principal, and you want me to bring in something big like philosophy? He says, just try it. So I researched all summer, Antonio, and I found a guy by the name of Pete Worley in London. And I went over to him and I was trained, and I came back and I told the staff we were going to do philosophy with 4-year-olds, and they all started laughing. They thought, this is hilarious. This ain't going. But listen, I proved that it would work, and I brought them all together. And I brought the Philosophy Foundation, and they trained all of the staff, all of the classroom assistants. You have to train the classroom assistants, Antonio, because they are the heartbeat of the community. They're the ones that go into the bars, they're the ones that go into all of the shops and talk about what's going on in the school. And when they're talking about philosophy, we're about educating the community, not just the school.
Yeah, I find that amazing because, when I was in college, and before film, I'm an aerospace engineer, so I had brutal classes in engineering, and we had to take philosophy. And believe it or not, and I'm going to be honest with you, it helped me. It helped me a lot because I understood the philosophers. We went through each one of them, and the whole strategy helped me with education and dealing with the building blocks of engineering. And and to this day, I still go that way. That's why when I first saw this movie, I was like really blown away and of the way you're teaching these kids, because they seem to be really listening and understanding the whole concept. So you know what? God bless for what you're doing,
Thank you.
because it's working. And Neasa, as a filmmaker,
Mhm.
it's the most difficult scene that you had to shoot.
Oh, what was the most difficult scene that? Well, I mean, it's always difficult when you see children upset. That's always kind of difficult to film, because you're kind of, you kind of want to jump in there and comfort them, but you can't, because you're not really supposed to be there, and you're bearing witness to something. So I guess that was probably the most difficult. Technically wise, schools are, they're very noisy, and that can be difficult as well. um and uh and keeping up with Kevin
Right,
was
right.
difficult because he's always on the move. And he's so busy getting on with his day that he doesn't think, oh, this might be something they might be interested in. He just has to get on with it. So keeping up with him was also a bit challenging at times.
Yeah, actually, that's the next question I have for you, Kevin, is exactly about that. Um, for you, because the camera's on you, and you have to make believe that the camera obviously is not there, and the kids have to do the same thing. What was the most difficult scene that you thought, in your mind, was difficult to shoot?
Um, Antonio, I knew that the children were wearing the hearts on their sleeves, and there was an awful lot of emotions going to be in this movie. And I wanted to let the children know that if you're going to put your emotions on the screen, then so am I. And that's quite difficult for me to put up on the screen, with regards to how drink used to affect me as an adult, and how I can control emotions whenever there was drinking involved, and that I had to make a big decision, and that was to quit drinking and to concentrate on my career. And to put that on the screen was quite difficult for me. It was. Now I have to say that anything that I did with NASA anything in the movie is all one take. There was no, "I'll do that again," or that was, if we didn't get it, we just moved on. That's the whole idea. And the movie, that was difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I got to ask this question because I'm an Elvis Presley fan, and there was a part in the movie where uh, you basically taught the kids to go to a place. You know, I want to know from you: is your place, um, because I'm trying to figure out, did by going through to Elvis all the time and playing the music and being around Elvis, did it help you um bond with what was happening in the school and like getting everything in order, dealing with the kids? Is that your place that you went to?
Yeah. Well, principal is actually a stressful job, so you're well aware. I actually have, I could put the audio or the video on and show it. I actually have a thing of great things that reminds me to go there. And what I'll do is I'll show you quick, because just so that you know this. This is where I go when I get stressed. Now I'll put this on just for a second so that you see this. And
Yeah, yeah. I kind of knew that, I kind of figured that out when watching it, um, it, yeah.
here is Graceland.
Wow, that is beautiful. Let me ask you a question. Did you see the new movie?
Oh yes, I love
Yeah.
fantastic. I'm a big critic of anybody doing Elvis, but that boy Austin Butler, he was superb. He really was, and he did Elvis proud. He really did. For me,
Yeah,
it's
that's beautiful. That's very beautiful. Yeah. Wow. Here, here's a message. Um, what
one night.
what message do you have for other teachers or instructors when they're dealing with young boys or children themselves in school? What message do you have for those people?
Listen, Antonio, I'm sorry. Elvis was playing in the background in my clock saying ELVIS, it's 5 o'clock. So I didn't hear the start of your question.
That's okay. That's okay. I want to know is what message do you have for other instructors and teachers out there that have to deal with young boys or young girls, like kids, like yourself? Do you recommend this whole style of strategy of teachings to them? What message do you have for them?
I certainly do. And my message to them is, is, is believe in the children, believe in voice, believe um, they are great resource room, that their voices teach each other. That they come up with some fantastic reasoning in behind so many different philosophical themes, and that as a teacher we have to be able to step back and become more of a facilitator than a teacher in the classroom, and that's not easy to do yet. I mean, you're telling a teacher not to do their job, but it's wonderful when you have that courage and that bravery to be able to step away and allow children to talk, and it becomes sort of self-regulatory, Antonio, when you see it all sort of unfolding, because if you do this, you will have the same philosophy that we do, and this philosophy cuts across every school, every institution, and every family. You know, all we want to create successful children who are wise and kind.
But the good thing is what you're doing too is you're distracting them from the violence that's out there in the
Yeah,
world. When they leave from the school and they go out there and they come back to the school, all the things that you're doing is a very positive thing, and it's like an escape for them. And when they enter your school, like a very positive thing because they're surrounded by other kids, you know, and you got to commend yourself because I was very truly, my heart and passion was all about watching the film, and you must be happy that this film is like winning awards and it's going around. And because I interviewed Neasa like a year ago,
yes.
and I've been following this film, and the film has been successful, and I think it's because of your dealings with the whole philosophy. I think people are just in tune to it, like, wow, this is fantastic. So, Neasa, what message do you have for your audience um, about the film, about the whole process, and Kevin, and
Mm,
his dealing in philosophy? Uh,
mm. Well, I think that we live in very, very dark, uncertain times, and I think this is a story of great hope. And I think that's what the film mostly brings. I mean, when you see the work and when you see the effects of teaching philosophy and critical thinking to children as young as 4, you are amazed by these children and their responses and their resilience and how they cope with stuff. So it's a story of hope, and it can what Kevin does in his school can be done in every school in the world, and it will do nothing but improve and make those children more resilient to face whatever it is that we're going to have to face in the next decades with all the stuff that's going on in the world between climate change and wars and everything, and um, polarized communities. This is a story that gives a solution, because it teaches people to respect each other and to listen to the other, and not to be afraid of the other.
You know, every year there's different students and different plot lines, you know, and climax and all that. Do you see a future of doing another piece behind the same concept in the school? A sequel?
I think it would be very, very interesting to see how those children are doing, maybe in 5 years' time or 6 years' time. Going back into the school, of course, I'd love to go back into the school if Kevin would have me in a few years' time as well, when more and more of the teachers take on the philosophical learning in the classroom. I mean, that would be really interesting to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Young Plato will have its theater release in New York in the Angelica Film Center on September 23rd, followed by a regional expansion on September 30th at participating Angelica locations. Thank you for being on this show, both of you. I commend you. God bless you. And I hope total success with this film. And Kevin, please continue on doing what you're doing. Fantastic. You're doing great, man. Hey, keep up with the Elvis. Neasa, thank you very much. And Emma, God bless you and have a wonderful day.
Thanks
you very
very
much. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.